Good morning to the another exciting meeting of Interpersonal Toastmasters Club. Today we have an exciting meeting waiting for you. Let me hand over the stage to this wonderful lady, Toastmaster Aparna, who always travels throughout the world. Toastmaster Aparna, over to you.
Much for that, DTM Kalpana. I do need to share my screen in a bit, so I will do that if I could. Just let me know if it's visible, and the theme, then I will. Yep. Thank you. All right, so I'm not sure if I can see the others, and you've got to tell me if you can see me now and see the screen and see all of that. I'm not sure how that works, but anyway, so I'm sure you guys can see the screen and see me as well. Okay, so welcome, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, whichever part of the world that you've joined us from. Welcome to another interesting meeting for the day, and thank you everyone who got me to be the Toastmaster for the day. The theme for the day is, how do you stay fit? How do you stay healthy? I add another dimension to it. When you stay healthy, you stay young. We've got interesting speakers today, and we are going to hear some amazing stories, titles from them. We also have evaluation rounds. We've got people joining in, and along the way, I will share some of those tips as we move in for our plan. Okay. Now, when we talk about staying healthy and staying young, I think I say this from both aspects as a psychologist who works in people behavior spaces and as a sports person. It's equally important to have a healthy body to be able to have a healthy mind. And that is something that will keep you driven. A lot of times I hear people say, oh, I'm very fit. Sure, you're fit. Are you healthy? Is a question. A lot of times people who appear all fit, and then suddenly you say, oh my God, I heard he keeled over. How did he do that? Well, he looked very fit, sure, but not sure if he was healthy. So I'm hoping through the day as we progress, in the hour that we have, I would like to share a few tips on how do we balance that bit about being fit and being healthy. So I'm your Toastmaster for the day. My name is Aparna. Welcome once again. And to be able to play out my role as a Toastmaster, I also have some key role players, and I'm going to introduce the first one, my grammarian for the day. So if we could have the spotlight on the grammarian, please.
Good evening, everyone. So this is Sangeeta. So I'll be grammarian today, and I have the word of the day here. I will be putting up here. The word is prevaricate. Prevaricate. It means to speak or act in an evasive way. One example could be that in a sentence is that my sister Sarah does not take bad news well. So I always prevaricate when telling her something that she doesn't want to hear.
Okay, so thank you for that, and I please do let me know if the screen continues to be visible. Yes, this is such a challenge.
Yeah, we can see the screen.
Oh, okay, thank you. So I've just put up the agenda there for us, saying the topic. We've had the grammarian, and we're ready to take on the first speaker. The first speaker for the day is Kalpana. And Kalpana is going to talk to us. Her pathway and is engaging humor, and that's at level 3 that she's going to speak. The title is My Pride, and I think our timer is missing. Sangeeta, would you be able to manage the time for us as well?
Yeah, okay, I will do that. I'm not sure because I've not done grammarian before. Probably
so let's not stress you, Sangeeta. No, don't get stressed about this. Okay, this is our meeting. So what I recommend is just to stick on to the grammarian part. Let me step in. I don't obviously have the slides in here. So DTM Kalpana, for you, I will just give you a cue when we are, 5 minutes up. Your speech time is 5 to 7. So I'll give you a cue at 5 minutes, at 6 minutes and 7 minutes. Does that work? Kalpana?
Yes, that works. Yes.
Sure. Okay. All right. So over to you, Kalpana, and let me stop sharing. This doesn't stop sharing. Okay, there we are. All right. So DTM Kalpana, sorry, my pride, DTM Kalpana.
Someone said, money can't buy happiness. Just never bought the right car. Yes, this is true. I believe that. In the year 2010, my husband surprised me by bringing a brand new Maruti car with the model called as Ritz. We were very happy. It was my favorite blue color. Whenever I used to sit in the car, I used to feel that I'm on top of the world. It was just 1 day old baby at my home. I used to love the way my husband used to drive and the AC that used to come whenever we sit and the front seat. Wow, everything is here. And I know how to buy happiness now. And we started our journey to leave to my office. I bagged all the required stuff. I have been prepared for any weather condition that would fall on my way because I have the magic of my car. Yes. And we started our journey. I also had few snacks and I also have few tissues and all the stuff needed so that someone gets into my car. They feel that they didn't come into the car, they got into my home. This is how I used to pamper my 1 day baby and we started our journey. We have to travel the 40 miles to reach to our office. It was a long journey, but we know the journey is going to be wonderful because I have the world's biggest happiness and that is my car. Yes, we started our journey half the way and suddenly a rude and bad auto driver, which is a public carrier in India, had just hit the window of my car. And this was very sad news for me. And I wanted to teach him a lesson because he had spoiled my car and there was a small scratch on my car. I immediately felt that he has to understand what he had done to my baby. And I have forgot that I have to reach to office in another 30 minutes, but I left everything on this earth because it was my car, which was giving me immense happiness when I was sitting. And when someone troubles it, I cannot see that they are troubling it. And I used to rush it back of the car, that auto, and ensured that I traveled around 20 extra miles to stop by him and tell him that, you know what you did? You spoiled my car and it's brand new car. Poor fellow didn't even understand why I was coming and where he exactly committed the mistake. And he said, I'm really sorry, madam. I cannot do anything. Please, ma'am, consider. I said, it's okay if you cannot buy or you cannot do anything to this damage, but be careful next time, okay? And then I realized I missed very important meeting of my office. I had to call everyone and tell that I had to have an emergency situation for one of my family member and I was taking care of that situation. And you all know what is that emergency situation was. And this used to happen and days passed by. In 2015, we have been traveling to one of the place to give a wedding invitation of my brother. And we had our luxury car with us. We were traveling and suddenly there was a tire burst. Immediately, the driver could not control the car and we went on the national highway, hit the road and our car turned 2 rounds and we were falling on the other side of the road, road with upside down.
All the tires of the car were up and we were down and started to fume. We were completely surprised to see that our car was damaged totally. We were really worried. At that time, at that moment, I felt that there is something important beyond life, and that is only life. We have considered car to be most luxury thing, but then that day I celebrated that my kids, my husband, and I were safe out of that incident.
5 minutes.
Now my whole perspective of having a car changed. Now I have another car where I'm traveling, but if I see a bike rider or anyone coming and hitting my car, I just pull my car to a side. I don't give priority for what is happening to my car, but I will check the other person and ask, hey, are you all right? And then he says, yes, ma'am. And I'm really sorry. I say, that's okay, man. We can always have a plan for our car, but life will be more precious than what we have. Ladies and gentlemen, all these years I have been thinking that my pride was my car, but I didn't understand that my pride was having life itself. What is your pride, Toastmaster of the day, Toastmaster Aparna?
Thank you so much. I could visualize you in your car having turned turtle, upside down. My God. And while you did later, when I could smile about it, must have been a horrifying experience for you, right? So happens to all of us. My pride, well, for now is my bike. I have a motorcycle, and that's one that keeps me going. I'm a biker. Cars don't work for me. They make me feel all locked in. But what a brilliant speech there. Thank you so much for that, Toastmaster Kalpana. And bang on there for managing time in spite of our little concern with the timing bit. Well, the smile that you've started us off on is one of my tips saying, how do we stay healthy? It is when you smile a lot. So thank you for bringing that smile onto our faces at the start of our round. And we're ready for our second speaker. The second speaker for the day is Toastmaster Catherine. Her pathway is dynamic leadership, and she's at level 1 of research and presentation mastery. Are you ready, Toastmaster Catherine? Ladies and gentlemen, Toastmaster Catherine, third culture children, Toastmaster Catherine.
We won't eat chicken again, ever, Mommy, said my little ones. I grabbed a seat, dropped my bags to the ground, and asked, tell me, honey, what happened? Why are you so furious? It turned out that the 2 chickens their grandmother gifted the family a few months back had become their endeared pets with whom they played and talked all the 3 months as the family settled back home from relocation. Lucky and Chaco were their names. I don't even remember their names, so I made these up to comfort myself. After their funeral, my daughters buried Lucky and Chaco's feet under the sand, bowed their heads, washed their little hands, and left. It is only then and only then that they discovered or recognized that the chicken that we have been having at table comes from these little pets. Their pain was that Mom and Dad did not consult the pet owners when they decided to make their pets the meal for the day. What would you do if you got home and your parents had made your endeared pet dinner for the night. Toastmasters and guests, any beautiful indigenous person bred and grown in my culture knows that to be gifted a live chicken means that your meal for the day has been upgraded. Not my children. You see, at 2 months and 1.5 years, these little ones made their first debut move to Sana'a, Yemen, in the Middle East in March 2007. And this began a journey called the third culture. Third culture is any culture separate or different from that of your parental culture or that you were brought up in. Children raised in this culture are called third culture children. Now, we all assume that these children are children of immobile workers or workers that globetrot. I want to think, in my personal opinion, that, for example, you Toastmasters and guests have a third culture. Why? You certainly have been raised different from the geographical location and the distance where your parents were raised. But I will also share the conventional reasons that third culture children exist. And these are refugee children, migrant children, children who have been forcefully displaced from their locations, their families, their countries, children with special needs that need to be raised in a different location from the one that they have, and disabilities, children of diplomats, children of military officers, government officers, missionaries, and business enthusiasts. Third culture was created, concept, by a lady called Ruth Hill. And this is according to a lady called Sally Yolanda, who is a family relations writer with Internations. She shared their deepest or their most fundamental needs. And these are the needs: the need for belonging, the need for recognition or validation, and the need for connection. Without these, children will express anger, tension, fear, outbursts, grief, frustration, and withdrawal sometimes. And this means that all of us who care for children, work with children, or live with children have to be empowered with the skills and tools to build resilience. The author of Two Cultures, C.P. Snow, in 1963, he said that these children who are exposed to great opportunities like rich culture, rich customs, rich thoughts, diverse attitudes, have the capacity to link between intellectuals and scientists or innovations of today. What an opportunity. What an opportunity for us to engage, to defend, to enrich our parenting, to validate them, make room for them, because these children will rule. They will determine how perfect, how resilient, how flexible, how great the next industrial revolution will be. Back to you, Toastmaster.
Thank you so much for that, Catherine. It was really lovely. The best part, you've added to my health for the day, because I suddenly feel really nice about being a third culture child. And I ticked off on so many of those lists that you spoke about, right? About being an army child, about being a child who's displaced from wherever I was at, from my place of origin. So thank you. It certainly gives a very different perspective. And I'm sure the evaluator, Piyush, has been making his notes like Bharat did earlier on for Kalpana. I don't think we've got Susan here. Let me just share back my screen and share with you people some other tips on what is going to keep us healthy and fit. And then we could move on to the evaluation rounds. Please let me know if my screen's visible. We're going to skip that one.
Yes, it is visible.
Thank you. So the way to get started.
Point of information. Can I just
Yes.
give point of? Miss Susan said she's unable to attend. Power is out. There's no generator. She's unable to attend today.
All right. Thank you for letting us know that. Susan's really always very prompt on A, being there, B, being informing. In fact, I was wondering, I pinged her and she's probably got no power, so no charge on her phone. Sad that you're going to miss her. I love hearing her speeches. So the fact that the way to get started is to quit talking and begin doing. How many of us here, and not just for ourselves, but hear people around us that we keep saying, oh yeah, from tomorrow, I'm going to start. Oh yes, from tomorrow, I'm going to do. And then we don't really know as to how and when we are going to do. So here's really a couple of easy tips, okay? As I said, two aspects, a healthy mind and a healthy body. Both have to be healthy. So it's not just about, hey, I'm going to exercise, okay? Some tips for both the areas. The first one, which says exercise for the body. Keep it easy. Please don't attempt a straight 10-miler as a run on day one. Start a few steps. Wherever, there is no fixed time to do exercise, where it helps if you had a fixed time. But if you can't, don't make that as an excuse. Ensure that you do that whenever. While the kettle boils, try and do a few squats. When you look around waiting for the bus, do a few stretches. They're going to still help you. Most important, choose what excites you, not what is the trend. Oh, everybody is running marathons. Just last week, by the way, Eliud Kipchoge broke the world record for marathons when he ran in Berlin. 2 hours, 1 minute for an entire full marathon. I don't know how he ever does that, but you don't have to be Eliud Kipchoge. You just have to do what excites you. And then, of course, listen to your body. Rest is very, very important. I'm going to come back to the exercises for our mind and talk a little more about it in a bit. Let me just take that pause and instead go back and hear our evaluations, and then we will learn a little more about, the healthy mind. So our first evaluator to evaluate DTM Kalpana's speech on my pride is going to be our evaluator, Bharat Nangia. So Bharat, are you ready? You're on mute, Bharat.
Oh, just give me a second. My apologies. This place is a little small for me to stand up and do something, but
I love the setting, by the way. It's absolutely beautiful, Bharat. It's a very nice, warm, cozy, well-read kind of a corner. So go ahead, over to you.
And please note, I'll be the timer, so I'll be showing the timing cards on back of my screen. Thank you.
So money cannot buy happiness. Did DTM Kalpana give us this message very clearly? Yes, she did. She did not prevaricate and was very clear where she is going on. We could see her standing. We see her, the entire background is very clear. She had a smile on her face. Her delivery, some grammatical challenges, but otherwise, she came out very well. I was reading her purpose of the speech, and to reach the purpose, I will challenge DTM Kalpana. You had plenty of spots there with the tiffin and with the driving the car, putting those things to put some humor there. For example, you could say, in the car, I'm just feeling so happy. And suddenly this smell from my tiffin is overtaking my happiness. Sometimes humor does not have to be a joke. It can be situations, and you can use that very well. Now, even when your car turns turtle, you have plenty of opportunity there. Your speech was less than 6 minutes. You could add some real emotions. Your husband finding your son and your family members, and maybe put some humor there as well. Oh, we had a free ride in a roller coaster, something like that. Make it more humorous. And yet, for us, you were top of the world. You were really top of the world in your car, and you took us on that roller coaster ride with us. So, summing up, an excellent delivery, a great message. What I would challenge you to is add humor as per the purpose of your speech. And finally, tie it back to the beginning, which you said, money cannot buy happiness. Your life, your breath is your happiness. Back to you.
Thank you so much for that. Bang on observations, beautifully put together as an evaluation. Thank you totally, Bharat, for that evaluation. And we now have our second evaluator evaluating Toastmaster Catherine's speech for us. Toastmaster Piyush, are you ready?
Yes.
Over to you.
We won't eat chicken ever again. Right? What an opening, right? With great expressions, with a lot of energy. If you're an audience who's not paying attention, it will wake you up and pull you right into the speech. What an amazing beginning of the speech. There were element of surprise, like when you said the pets were the meal. Like I wasn't expecting that to happen. Like I just saw that there is a great opening of an enthusiastic expression, and then there was an element of surprise. So that was a delight. You have used great amount of vocal variety. Like in one sentence, there is enthusiasm, joy. In other sentence, now you're speaking the kid's tone, which is the serious tone, like, mommy, what happened? You have beautifully introduced the term third cultural children with utmost clarity. It was appeared well researched, like you had a couple of quotes there. You have great set of examples, like children of business enthusiasts, children of several type of immigrants, like army child displaced from original place, etc. So overall, I would say well put, well researched, great use of expressions, voice modulation. I also saw great facial expressions, hand gestures. I really struggled to find room for improvement there. And I kept thinking for some time, and then thought maybe you can challenge yourself and try to tone down the vocal variety a little bit. Because I think to a certain extent, I felt that there was a bit of overuse. That's just my personal opinion, and that's probably one of your strengths. So if you can tone down that part, maybe some of the other areas will come out a little bit more. So to conclude, you had a great opening, great use of expression, tonal variety, beautifully introduced a well-researched subject of third culture children. And to challenge yourself, you could try toning down the ups and downs of expression so that some of the other elements of the speech comes up. Thank you. Back to you, Toastmaster Aparna.
Thank you so much for that, Toastmaster Piyush. It was fantastic for giving us that. And I'm sure Catherine benefits from all that you have put down. And I truly agree with you. Catherine, the minute she opened, it was like, wow, what an opening there, right? So since you've been the one who's right now we've focused on, so I'm going to sort of start with you and I'm going to go back all the way up to Kalpana. And then, of course, here, I've missed hearing Jim's evaluation since I've missed hearing Susan's speech. However, I still have that question for Jim as well. So what do you do to stay fit, Toastmaster Piyush? Any tips from you on how do we stay fit?
Great question, great point. That there's no one answer or one solution that fits everyone. Everyone has their own way of staying fit. So I would say maybe Toastmaster Kalpana, she is great at dancing. So when you're practicing your Bharatnatyam, I'm sorry if I missed like the dance form that you practice, but that's a form of exercise. If you are into some of the games like football, baseball, or whatever pleases you, and in certain situations, if you can't go out, I have a video game which is like works on your motions. So you can play tennis. So there's some exercise happening there. Online classes, like if you're interested in dance or in general, like the bunch of stuff that people are putting online in terms of classes. You can join some of those sessions. What I do personally, somehow I got into running. So in my college, outside of the regular coursework, we had to pick one of the National Social Service, National Cadet Corps, NCC, and the sports, NSO, National Sports Organization. So the thing is, if you don't get into NSS, which was the hot cake, like you have to, like, that's where people get to go out and mingle with people outside. If you don't get that, you try really hard to get into some of the sports. And I was good at running, so I got into sports. And if you don't get any of these, you get to do the NCC, which is like Saturday, first half in parade in the scorching heat, and during one of the winters, 1 month of rigorous training. So people really wanted to avoid that, but somehow I got into the sports part, which is running, started running smaller distance, like 400 meters in my college, became the road race captain where I ran 7 kilometers. And nowadays I graduated to do half marathon, which is a lot less than some of the other folks on this call, but that's what I do for my fitness.
Doesn't matter. So it's good to hear we've got a fellow runner in the group, and thank you for that. When you say you do half marathons, believe me, a lot of people do those in their dreams, never really get off the bed. So hats off to you for starting that off, and may you continue to keep growing on all the runs that you keep doing at. Okay, so I'm going to ask Bharat next. What does Bharat do for his fitness before I come to Jim on what he does to stay healthy? Bharat?
Before I answer that, I would love to know how many of you are 60 plus in this group.
Age is a number, Bharat.
Correct. Age is a number, and I am defying that. In my Apple Watch, you can see I've hit today is the 29th of September. I had a September challenge, 2,600 minutes of exercise, which I finished on 24th or 23rd. So, September is going to be a perfect exercise month for me. No offs. But here I'll pick Aparna for that. Mental health has been a challenge because I was brought up in India with a learning disabled father and a brother. So had been with this all sets of samadhans and muskans and action for autism. So was lucky and blessed to be there and learn from them. And I thought I would never face any challenge like that. Back 2014, traveling left, right, and center, traveled the world in almost 40 days and 2 times for that. And then all of a sudden I was in the hospital, in the ICU. Don't know what happened. And 6 months I couldn't work. I was told I had burned myself out. So from that day, although I walk a lot, my biggest exercise or my most, what you can say, what I love most is my swim. We have a swimming pool right down there with a waterfall, and standing there, just relaxing and getting new ideas. So I think the mental health comes from not only putting yourself in stress that Bharat. So one of these 30 days, like yesterday, I was not up to it. So I just walked inside my house. I said, just okay, let me clear this and set myself a goal and clear it out. So I'm going overtime here, but then I have a lot of stories to tell. I am on a 77-day video challenge, giving my stories on Facebook live every day. And one of them is a semi-marathon or a hike, which I did 3 days back. So back to you, and a lot of stories here in my heart.
Thank you so much for that. Thank you. I also see, I love that image, the whole waterfall and the swimming pool. Yeah. So Jim and Catherine, probably, even Diana for that matter, for your context. Okay, most of the Indian movies, the Bollywood, as they're called, inevitably, when we want to create anything that is sizzle and aura, etc., you need to get the women into water. Okay, and somehow Bharat as the little nymphet is what popped up in my image when I looked at or thought of Bharat in that swimming pool. No, let me not go down that path at all. But what I love was behind you, Bharat, out of clutter, find simplicity. From discord, find harmony. And in the middle of difficulty, find opportunity. What beautiful statements. Thank you for that, Bharat. You've made my day entirely with just those 3 statements. Again, I'm going to sort of add that later when I talk. Absolutely. Start the day with a smile. I saw that one first. So totally, but thank you for that. And Jim, over to you, since Jim also raised his hand saying 60 plus. Let's hear it from another healthy and strong man. Jim?
Thank you very much. What I try to do to stay healthy physically is a couple of times a week. I go to a gym and we do kickboxing and mixed martial arts, things like this. It builds a good sweat and it's very intense. So I try to do that at least twice a week. But I'm also finding that part of being fit is also thinking about what I can do more of. And for me, that's just walking. And I would love to walk more than I get to do. So whether it's walking around a local track or just finding places to walk briskly in my neighborhood, I'm always looking for opportunities to walk more, because I used to do that much more than I do now. And the other thing is, my favorite drink, one of my favorite drinks is strawberry kiwi Snapple. I have a real weakness for that. I love it. It tastes great. But I have found in the last few months that my favorite drink is actually water. And so I've been drinking a lot of water, and it's really helped in terms of keeping the weight down and so forth. So now, if I want to splurge a couple of times on kiwi strawberry, I'll do it, but it won't be a thing that I'm drinking every day. So it's been kind of difficult to keep that discipline, but I've luckily been able to. So those are just a couple of things that I do to try to stay as healthy as possible.
Amazing. Water. Well, we all know we are 80% water, and I think that is just the human body. It's cheap. At least in the country that I come from, we don't have to pay for drinking water. Remember, when I went out of India the first time around, and I thought, okay, do I drink beer now that I'm out of the country? And I realized that beer was cheaper than drinking water. And I was like, okay, I think I will stick to beer. Yeah, paying for water was not my idea, having traveled out of the country. But yes, a lot of power in that water that you're talking about. And of course, walking, one of the simplest things we all do the minute we learn and walk in. Absolutely, Deanna, I'm going to turn to you next. And before I come to you and hear what you do to stay healthy, let me just provide a couple of tips more in terms of the mind and being healthy. And then Deanna, for those of you who don't know, let me tell you, Deanna is my style guru. I just love what she does by way of all the styles that she comes on, and she looks so amazing all the time. And it helps me stay fit and take care and ensure I look and feel fit. So Deanna, just hang on for a minute there and let me just walk through the bit about the mind, and then I'm going to hear from you. All right, so here we are. I'm going to share my screen for the tips. Let me know when it's visible. Okay, is it?
Yes.
I think so. Yes. So now exercises. We talked about the body. We also heard the fact that Bharat loves to swim. We heard the fact that we've got already a runner in the making, like long distance runner in the making with us. We've got all recommendations around just walking, drinking water. But what about that mind? And Bharat did share with us for a moment. That was very sad to hear. And it's amazing how you've emerged out of it so strong, Bharat. But that mind is the key to everything. Laugh often. We read that board that Bharat has. Start your day with a smile. Not just a smile, laugh. Find reasons. Sometimes when we're driving, and we have the news channel playing, or we've got music playing, I recommend there's somebody who you follow, like a stand-up act or something, play that person out. From one light to another traffic light, just listen to somebody with a stand-up act or some sort of comedy serial. And the amount that you would laugh, believe me, you've added not just minutes, but hours to your life just between those two traffic lights, instead of figuring out, oh, this is just such bad traffic, etc., etc. So laugh, listen to music, whatever works for you. Play with colors. There was a reason why I chose these particular colors on the deck that I put together. All pastels help you calm yourself down. Look at your own pictures, pictures of the family, pictures from the past, pictures of you making a fool of yourself. All those bring back memories, and they help you center yourself. They help you realize you've come a far way. Anything that works for you, look at those, because that healthy mind is going to create a healthy body. And then, as I said, over to my style guru now, Deanna, to hear what she does to stay healthy. Deanna, over to you. You can always type too. Thank you to you too, Deanna. And I'm waiting for you to type out your messages in addition. But just that lovely smile that you have on all the time, right? It excites me, it gets me going, and it's amazing to have you whenever you join in. So it's truly, truly fantastic. I'm going to wait for you to type out and I'll read those out later. But I'm mindful of the time and I do want to hear our grammarian reports. Also, Kalpana, thank you for being our timer. Since I timed your particular speech and we do know you were in time, would you please share the times for the others? And then we could quickly hear Sangeeta with the grammarian report for us.
Sure, thank
Kalpana?
you. Yes, sure. Thank you, Aparna, for timing me. And I have timed Catherine. Catherine, you were in time and you took 6 minutes, 5 seconds to complete your wonderful speech. And Bharat, you took 3 minutes, 29 seconds while you were evaluating me. Thank you for that lovely evaluation. And Piyush, you have taken 3 minutes, 11 seconds to give your evaluation for Catherine. And rest all, we are good. Thank you. Over to you, Toastmaster of the Day, Toastmaster Aparna.
Thank you for doing that dual role. Kalpana is doing, I think, multiple roles today. She also started off the meeting. She's the sergeant in arms. She's hosting. You know, in India, by the way, right now we have what we call the Navaratri festival. Okay, it's to venerate, to praise the goddess, and this particular form of goddess. Of course, she's a female god, so that's something that's exciting. She is a goddess with 8 arms, right? And Kalpana today is, you know, for me, embodying that multiple arms, multiple roles, doing so many things. So thank you, Kalpana, for being able to do that so beautifully for us. And Sangeeta, our newly taken on grammarian role person, with that beautiful word prevaricate. I don't think for a minute she herself looks at it, finding the easy way out. Over to you, the grammarian, Toastmaster Sangeeta.
Hi. So here will be for speaker 1, Kalpana. It was a great speech with a great message, definitely. Some phrases that had good usage was top of the world, and you compared your car to a 1-year-old baby. You pampering my 1-year-old baby, comparing it to your house, called it a house, and some adjectives like immense happiness, life is more precious. It was my pride of having a car. I realized my pride was having life more than a car. It was overall a good speech with a good message. And thank you very much for your wonderful speech, Kalpana. Going to the second speaker, Catherine, you had a very good vocal modulation and good concept of third culture children. This was something new to me. And you had very good adjectives used. You had endeared pets, ingenious person, and empowered, resilient and flexible children who will rule the next generation of industrial revolution. Yeah, different kinds of immigrants like diplomats, government officers, and yeah, like such. And emotions like outburst, grief, frustration. So you had a lot of these adjectives used to describe emotions. Yes, it was a really good speech. Thank you for that, Catherine. And then we had the evaluator, Bharat, who used the word prevaricate. That was good. And you spoke about how Kalpana could include humor in her speech. You spoke about roller coaster ride. So that was interesting to how you brought up this for the car rolling on the road. And then, and you had a really good delivery of your evaluation was good. Overall, it was a good evaluation. And then we have evaluated 2, Piyush. He used element of surprise. That was a good usage. And he said, beautifully introduced the concept. So that was, again, a good phrase, good language. And you need to challenge yourself. That was another good usage, I feel. And I think it was well well evaluated speech again. Thanks again, Piyush. So I would like to conclude my grammarian role by summarizing this. Thank you.
Thank you so much for that and for noting down all the things that everybody said, not just the speakers, but also being able to look at what the evaluators said. Usually as a grammarian, I find myself saying, okay, what did they miss? And that's what I'm noting. What was lovely was you noted all the things that went well. So thank you for that. It takes a good mind that is able to focus on all the nice things that people have. Okay. Yes, you did, Deanna. Absolutely. Pre-Medicaid, that's what you said. And we did hear Deanna use it too. Yes.
Yes.
So that was
right.
lovely. Thank you for thank you for using that for us. Absolutely, Deanna, truly so. And let me ask you, Sangeeta, quickly, what do you do to stay fit, apart from that gorgeous smile that you have?
Well, staying fit is not just physically, but yeah, as you said, it's more of mental health as well. I mean, it should go in hand, you know, being mentally fit and physically fit, they go in hand. So I think food also plays a very big role here. What you take into the body helps you keep your body fit. So I think having good diet is one very important, very critical for that. So having a good, you should have a balanced diet with all nutrients, getting all your vitamins and nutrients to keep your body fit, healthy. Yes, and drinking plenty of water, as the Toastmaster who, I think it was Jim who said. So yeah, drinking plenty of water, keeping your body hydrated is very important. Staying active in general, it's not always like you should be a sportive person, but in general, being more active, you know, getting around. And as you mentioned, just taking, you know, a small walk, or, you know, just stretching your body while waiting for a bus or something like that, being more active like that. And then yes, being around good people, I mean, being around with motivating people is another great way, you know, staying fit, because that kind of improves your mood, so you're more happy, so that kind of reflects on your health as well. Yeah, I think these are mostly what I do.
Thank you. That's all right. Thank you for that. And I think with this, before I sum it up, and I'll leave that last slide on later, but you know, before I pull that in, for the next week's meeting, let me just quickly call out those who are looking at or being role players. I think we do have the speakers with us for next week. We do have most of the roles open. We've got speaker 1, Grace is already in, but we're looking for a speaker 2. We do have a table topics master for the day. So some of those roles are in. For the rest, please do nominate yourselves and we will have you take on the roles that we have. I'm going to just share my screen in a nutshell to wrap up what is being healthy of mind and body. Power foods, you just talked about nutrients and vitamins, Sangeeta. So yes, food that adds power to you. Power workouts, simplest, walk, run, anything that works for you. And most important, the powerful you. When you are in focus and when you know that you are in control, whatever it is that works for you is going to ensure a healthy and a happy you. On that note, I hope I have covered everybody and we did hear everyone speak. So I'm going to sort of call this to an end from my end for having managed the day. Thank you so much for giving me that opportunity. Wishing everybody an absolutely healthy day, a fantastic sleep and a restful night for those of you who are getting to bed, and a wonderful, wonderful day ahead for those of you who the day just begins for. Back to you, Toastmaster Kalpana, to be